Hello beautiful and welcome back to my channel, and welcome to this video that's gonna be me looking back at the makeup predictions for like this year and whether or not I was right. Every year at the end of the year I do like a makeup predictions, predicting the makeup future, and sometimes I'm right and sometimes I'm wrong, and we are gonna look back at the predictions I have for 2021 and see whether or not I was right or whether or not I was wrong. And if you haven't been here before, if this is your first video here, hello, my name is Angie. I'm such a lover of beauty makeup. I love everything beauty makeup related, especially things that are a little bit colorful, like this look right here, which is live on my Instagram, by the way. I will link that down below in case you're interested in seeing how I did this look. But if you want to see some more makeup on your timeline, if you want to see some more color on your timeline, don't forget to subscribe, because I upload, well, right now it's every day until Christmas, but I normally upload 5 times a week. Like I said, every year I tend to do a makeup predictions for the next year. You know, in December we wrap up the year and we look towards the future, and last year Kelly Gooch also did this, and I thought her predictions were so interesting because she was so oddly specific with her predictions. Also, she was oddly correct about some of her predictions. So I asked her if you wanted to do one of these like recaps with me as a collab. So don't forget to check out Kelly down below and check out whether or not she was right in her predictions for 2021, because let me tell you, I looked back at them and I was like, ooh, because some of them came true, and yeah, you need to go and check out her video. I cannot wait to see her react to herself being that right. And if you aren't subscribed to Kelly for any reason, you really should be. She's so sweet. I've actually met her twice in real life. She's a sweetheart. She is just beautiful inside out. She is so great at makeup. And she does more like neutral, not so bright, and like intense looks. So if you're looking for more makeup content that might be more on the quote-unquote wearable side, definitely think you should check out her. She's so good at makeup and she's so sweet. You definitely should go subscribe to her, and I cannot wait to see her reaction to her own like predictions. I have a full list here. I have a full list of my predictions, so I am gonna go through them, and let me tell you, some of them we can just breeze through because I was not right at all, and some of them I could have a couple of like thoughts about. I did talk about that I thought that we were coming into a time where we've been seeing like some more neutrals. We had been a very intense, like almost rainbow period. Like 2020, 2019 was the years where brands showed that they really do not have any kind of imagination. They think colorful, they think rainbow, they're like, there's just nothing beyond that. There's just nothing really beyond that. So I really thought that 2021 was going to be a year of neutrals, because I saw so many more like interesting neutral things come out at the end of 2020. And I do think that we have seen a bit of a neutral wave, and a lot of people really like coming out, and like when I say people, I mean YouTubers, like on YouTube, saying like, I love neutrals, I'm so happy to see neutrals. We've seen some like super brown palettes come out as well that have been fairly hyped, but I think that what I have seen like more during this year is more like muted colors, like muted color stories. I'm thinking like the Rose Quartz palette by OPV Beauty, for example, more things like that, and maybe not that like heavy on the trends when it comes to eyeshadow palettes. I feel like brands have been like really like sticking to their thing and doing what they like themselves think they're good at, which could be good in the time of when makeup is getting less and not popular, but less and less hype, let's be honest. There was though a couple of palettes, like I said, those were neutral, that was really hyped up, that people seem to really enjoy. So I think like yes and no, if I'm gonna be honest. I also talked about that I thought that there was gonna be some delays because of COVID, that some things might not like make sense, like there were maybe gonna be like more holiday theme, not holiday theme, but like color stories that might not make sense. Like we have seen some very colorful things coming for more like tropical or like pastel things coming for autumn, that brands have said like are autumn releases, and some of us have been like, is it really? But all in all, I don't know. I've seen a couple of delays like that, that brands are like, what are we gonna do with the stock? Like we still have to sell it, because most brands can't afford to just scrap an idea, throw it away and start again. First of all, it's not good for the environment to just scrap something. But second of all, like most brands don't have that capital that they're able to get rid of something that might be like let's be honest, $1 million or at least $100,000. They're not able to just scrap that and start over just because they want to do pastels for spring. I think we've seen some of that, but maybe not as much as I can think of at the top of my head when I was going through the releases. If you can think of anything where you were like, this seems very off season, do let me know. And always when I talk about seasons, there's always people that have this discussion like Northern Hemisphere, Southern Hemisphere. I think it more like brands in the Northern Hemisphere usually release things that are in season for them, and brands in the Southern Hemisphere usually release things that are in the season for them. I know that this is something that I get quite harsh comments when I talk about this. They're like, but maybe they meant it to be a spring release for something. I understand, but if a brand is located in Europe or if a brand is located in the US, they're usually releasing things according to their season. That is just, that's what I think. I also said that I thought there was going to be more press glitters. I didn't think that we had seen the last of press glitters. We even saw like press glitters on the side now, like a Colourpop collab that just came out, the So Quartz collection. Like Dominic Cosmetics just had a palette that had the press glitter in it. Like, listen, we are not done with press glitters. I think we're going to see it for some time. This is just me wildly speculating. Not maybe wildly speculating. It's speculating based on some things I know about makeup production. Making press glitters are more affordable. Press glitters are more affordable than making an eyeshadow, and I think a lot of brands are pushing the costs down and being able to include more exciting things by having press glitters in there. That's just me wildly speculating, and my husband is, hi, do you want to come and say hi? Now you have to come and say hi.
Hi.
Oh, look at his green hat. Come and show your green hat. Oh, hi, Cody. Missed your wallet? Oh, yeah. Cannot go driving without your driver's license. So, before we was rudely interrupted by my husband in a very green hat, I don't think we've seen the last of press glitters. I do think that it is a way for brands to keep the cost down a little bit. Although I will say that I think with time it will become what Colourpop just did and what Nabla has done before, something that's on the side, because most people just... From what I say most people, I know not everyone, but most people, they're just not interested in having it in the palette. Press glitters, fine, but in the palette, most people are not that interested, because I'm gonna be honest, the glitter travels and it gets everywhere. It gets everywhere. I also said that I thought that not only were we gonna see more textures, I also thought that we were gonna see more marbled shadows, the ones that Huda Beauty had in their Naughty palette. And we have seen Huda Beauty do more marbled shadows. She did it in, I think, both her brown obsession palettes and also in her wild obsession palettes, plus in her new palette. We've seen a couple of brands do marbled shadows like this, especially like Makeup Revolution. They always jump on the train to like grab like trends from different brands. I am surprised that we haven't seen more marbled shadows. If you can think of another brand that have done that, I feel like I can't, like at the back of my head there is a brand that is like, I know they did marbled shadows, I just can't remember which one. Please help me remember what other brand did marbled shadows after Huda did their, hers in that Naughty palette. I can't remember. I know Makeup Revolution did, but I just can't remember. And then Multichromes. I thought we were gonna see more Multichromes. If anything, what we have seen in 2021 is more Multichromes from indie brands in palettes. We have seen Glaminatrix have done like Multichromes in palettes, Adept Cosmetics have done Multichromes in palettes, Oden's Eye have done Multichromes in palettes, several palettes. I was thinking we were gonna see more, Little Cosmetics did it as well. I thought we were gonna see more mainstream brands being able to put Multichromes in palettes. I know that Juvia's Place had it in their Rohala 2 palette in the end of last year. I'm not 100% sure if that palette had come out when I filmed that episode. Also, Pat McGrath has had another palette, like she had one before, and now she had a second palette with a multichrome in it, or maybe even two. I was thinking that there were going to be more brands that had that, and I am slightly surprised that not more brands have jumped on the opportunity to take a pretty boring palette, put in a multichrome, and just probably sell a lot of it to people, because this is something that is not widely available to the mainstream market. A lot of people don't shop from indie brands. A lot of people don't even know about indie brands, and I am surprised that not brands like Too Faced and brands like Anastasia and Urban Decay, that they have not done a 9-pan or a 12-pan palette with just pretty mundane, regular, boring shade, boring, quote-unquote boring shades, and just one multichrome, and I think people would have gone bonkers for that multichrome. I think that that would sell the palette, and I am surprised that we haven't seen that, because multichromes are expensive, yes, but if you keep the rest of the palette pretty basic, people are still gonna buy it. So I wonder if 2022 is gonna be the year, because maybe all of these brands are just trying to like wrap their head around how they are gonna be able to get that in a palette to sell it but still make a profit. Because multichrome, the reason why multichromes are so expensive is because the actual multichrome pigment, the pigment that shifts in different colors, are expensive, and that's the reason. So I mean, I'm excited to see what happens in the future, because I do think that we are going to see more things like that. Because if you think that the mainstream brands are not checking up on the indie brands, you are sorely mistaken. I know for a fact that a lot of brands will buy releases from other brands just to check out other brands' collections, check out their quality, check out their things, and just, you know, check out the market, see what other people are doing. And I definitely think that the bigger brands are doing that themselves. I do not think that Urban Decay, and not maybe Urban Decay because they have not updated their formula in ages, maybe Urban Decay, but I don't think that brands like Anastasia and whatever brands, I don't think that they're just sitting there in like with the in Sweden we would say skugglappar on. I don't think that they're sitting there just with tunnel vision looking at their own projects, not glancing over to see what other people are doing. I do not believe that that is true. I definitely think that people are scoping out the market to see what other people are doing. I also said that I thought there were going to be more holidays than Christmas, like more holiday themed collections rather than Christmas, and there was a lot of Valentine's things, but I think that's very like, it's easy to do a Valentine's collection in the makeup community, not only because makeup is pretty giftable and a lot of people would probably wish maybe for a Valentine's gift to be makeup, and also because it is that typical red, purple, pink color story that's so easy for people to do. Like it's generic in a way that still sells. I mean, people still love those things, so I'm not surprised that we still keep seeing that. I was kind of thinking that people were gonna jump on more holidays, but this year has been so full of collabs. We'll talk about that in a bit. But oh my, the amount of Halloween releases is intense. And brands that tried out Halloween releases for the first time, as far as to my knowing, like Milani for example, they also did it this year. And I really think that even though Halloween, like, I'm making no sense. I think Christmas is celebrated in like 100 countries. Halloween is celebrated in 20 countries, and I think Sweden is part of that list, and I have never celebrated Halloween, so I don't, like, I guess it's celebrated enough to make the list, but I've never celebrated Halloween. So I think that that is a reason why sometimes people are like, why is everything Christmas? Like, why is nothing ever Halloween? It's because a brand that is sold in a lot of countries will probably make more money on a Christmas theme than they will on a Halloween theme, because they might be selling in countries that just do not celebrate Halloween and never have. But Halloween is getting more globally accepted, and a lot of people are more open to Halloween themed makeup or Halloween themed things, or more like mysterious and spoopy things, even though they might not be celebrating the holiday. And I think that brands are realizing this, and that is probably why we've seen so many Halloween releases. So many brands have released Halloween things, and yeah, I don't think that that is the end of it, because people love it. It's dark, it's mysterious, it's the kind of dramatic and fun and colorful, and like, it's the kind of like dramatic and dark and spooky thing makeup that we love to wear from time to time, and it's the kind of things that are fun to have in our collection. So I definitely think that it will continue. But it has been a lot of Halloween makeup this year. It is honestly, is it more Halloween makeup than like Christmas themed makeup? I honestly think so. At least this year, it's been honest, a little bit shocking. I thought we were gonna see new faces in collabs. Like, we're gonna see collabs with new people. We have definitely seen collabs with new people. I was guessing that Bailey Seria was gonna do a collab. I wonder if something's in the works, because I mean, she is, what is it now, 5 million, 6, I don't even know. Like, she's so big now and she's still doing her makeup. I'm actually surprised that nothing has come out this year. Maybe she's waiting for the perfect the perfect brand to contact her. But we have seen some new faces, definitely when it comes to collabs. The people that have been collabing that we might not have seen before, like Teresa is Dead, for example, did a palette with Lethal is Dead. I mean, I did a palette. I've done like nothing like that. I did a palette with Collabs. Is that my new face? Do I count? I don't know. Do I count? I don't know. I mean, and that's Makeup Corner, Judy and Tina from the Fancy Face did collabs with Oden's Eye. Like, there have been a lot of smaller and mid-sized influencers that have been doing collabs this year, and I feel like it's really interesting because I think that brands realize that you don't have to go to the ones that have millions and millions and millions to be able to create a good product that people want to buy. And I really hope that that continues because I like collabs. I really like, and I feel like it gives something fresh to the brand. I will say I don't like collabs when it's like, what is new about that? Those kind of collabs I don't like, but at least the ones that I talked about here, especially like the ones with Oden's Eye and the Lethal is Dead, like those collabs, like they really brought something new to the brand. I thought that was just super exciting, so I hope you see more of that. And I am surprised that Bailey Sarian did not have a collab. But speaking of collabs, I said that, oh boy, I said that we were gonna see more franchise collabs. This year has been a never-ending collab year with franchises. I don't even have to bring up all the different brands. All I can mention is Colourpop, Makeup Revolution, and Hip Dot. Brands that at this point just do collabs. I mean, not necessarily Colourpop, they do other things as well, but it's like at least once a month something comes out that's a collab with something that's not known for makeup. Is that not crazy? And I can't help but thinking, how long is this gonna be like going on? How long are they gonna be able to keep this up? Because at this point, nothing surprises me when it comes to collab. Like they could collab with an Atlas and I would be like, makes sense. I don't understand, it's a lot. It's a lot. And with that being said, I bought a couple as well that I really enjoy and that I think is super fun. So I'm not above it. I'm not above it. If a collab comes with, like I said, if a collab comes with World of Warcraft, all bets are off. I'm buying all of it. I'm buying twice. One to keep and one to use. Sue me. So I get it. I really do get it. But it is at the same, it's like a car crash. Like you look at it and it's like so appalling, but at the same time you can't look away. It's like, wow, it's just so much. I thought that this year was going to be a year of highlighters. I mean, we have seen highlighters. It's not like we haven't seen highlighters, but I feel like cream blushes and glowy blushes have been all the rage, and also cream bronzers. Maybe not as much, but cream blushes and glowy blushes, it's been so much, and I feel like, didn't we do that in 2020? Didn't we do that in 2022? Like, 2 years in a row. It's crazy. It's honestly crazy. What do you think about 2022? I don't even know. I don't even know. Like it's a lot. It's a lot. I had two very specific things that I thought. One of them was that I thought there were going to be more palettes, like pre-made palettes, from brands that are known for single shadows. And I don't necessarily think that this was like a crazy amount, but Glaminatrix are basically only doing palettes at this point. Adept Cosmetics seem to be only doing palettes at this point. I will also say that when it comes to Lethal Cosmetics, even though their things are still available as singles, at this point I will say that they have only switched to doing palettes. I mean, they're probably looking at maybe the somewhat success of Nabla, for example. Nabla used to do only single shadows, and now they're only doing pre-made palette. They totally ditched the single shadows. They're not even available anymore. And I do think that single shadows might come back. Single shadows were so popular. 2015, 2016, like single shadows was everything. Everyone was doing single shadows, and I feel like since then it's not as popular. And I mean, times are changing all the time. The pendant might swing in the other direction, but right now pre-made palettes is all the rage, if I'm gonna be honest. So I would not be surprised if we saw even more brands that do only single shadows switch to doing pre-made palettes, because I do think that in the grand scheme of things that they sell better, because it is an easier item to sell to someone that's maybe not that well versed in either the indie community or into like single shadows. The next one was super specific, and I'm so happy that I was right about this. I said that I thought that 2021 was going to be the year that Nyqvist Place was going to come with eyeliners, bronzers, highlighters, blushes, mascara. Not everything is correct, but they're doing eyeliners and bronzes and blushes. I have not seen single highlighters from them yet. They have had from before, but I don't think that that is the ones they're gonna keep. I mean, they did blush duos, they did bronzer duos. I would not be surprised if we saw more of these blush duos, and maybe even highlighter blush duos or highlighter singles or highlighter duos. I don't think that this is the last we saw of that. They did come out with eyeliners, both pens and liquid. I haven't seen mascara yet, but I would not be surprised if that came as well. Like, they have really been widening the range. I also did say eye primers, and they did come out with eye primers, and those are really, really good. So I think that Nyqvist Place is just going to continue to widen the range of products that they are like offering, and I definitely think that highlighters and mascaras are coming. I would be so surprised if they were not. I'm surprised they haven't done a face primer yet, because they have like foundations, 2 different foundations, and they have concealer and powder and all of that. So maybe pressed powders. Like, there are so many things that I think that they would be releasing, and I would not be surprised if we saw that in 2022, if I'm gonna be totally honest. Those were everything. Those were the things that I had. If you have any like comments regarding this, if you have anything to add, please let me know in the comments. Please let me know. I will have a predicting makeup trends of 2022 coming up. I am in the process of like gathering some information. I do have some ideas. It's always fun to like say what we think is gonna happen, and then to look back and see if we were like right or completely wrong. Let me know if you had anything that you thought was gonna happen in 2021 and whether it did or not. I would love to hear about it in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe, and also don't forget to check out Kelly Gooch down in the description box. I will leave all the info there, and I will see you again tomorrow for a new video. Bye!